Warren Buffett, if you didn't know, today was a big day. It was the annual shareholder meeting of Berkshire Hathaway, and Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger spoke for literally 6 hours. It was ridiculous, okay, and fielded a massive, epic amount of questions, okay. I want to take you through two interesting videos for me to react to in this one here today, okay. First one is Warren Buffett addresses questions on $130 billion cash hoard, potential distributions, what he's planning on doing with the money, why hold that much money, what are you expecting to crash, what's going on here, okay. So I want to react to that one, kind of give my perspective there. And then the next video I want to react to is this one's very interesting, okay? Elon Musk overestimates himself, but is still very talented, okay? So Charlie Munger has some interesting comments here about Elon Musk, what Musk is up to. Warren Buffett chimes in and kind of gives his opinion on Musk and how things are going there, and also how their views differ from somebody like an Elon Musk. So that's an interesting clip that I thought we'd react to in this video. So appreciate everybody joining me. As always, 26,000, I think 500 plus subscribers now on the channel. So I appreciate everybody subscribe to the channel. Thanks for being here. If you're looking to apply to join my private stock group, my private wealth group, then check out the link in the description area. That'll be for an application to join us in there. Alrighty, guys, let's get into this.
10 Berkshire annual meeting, you said the one question that you would ask of the Berkshire CEO would be about the distribution of cash to shareholders as the Berkshire cash pile grows larger and larger. So let me ask that question. Do you still feel confident of the future prospects for our over $100 billion in cash on hand, or are we getting closer to cash distributions?
Well, the one thing, if Berkshire shares are selling for less than we think they're worth, that could be a pretty big way to distribute cash. But we'd rather...
He's basically saying buy back the stock, right? Which Berkshire has been very interested in doing recently. By the way, if you're wondering the ages on Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, do you know their ages? Okay, I'm going to tell you their age right now. I say, unless you are super into these guys, you might not know their ages, okay? Mr. Warren Buffett, now 92 years old, and Charlie Munger, a shocking 99 years old now at this point in time. Yes, you heard me right, 99 years old. Next year, if he does this meeting, 100-year-old. Who would have thunk it, man? Crazy.
What we really like to do is buy great businesses. If we could buy a company for $50 billion or $75 billion, $100 billion, we could do it. And we can do it, and our word's good. It's difficult with a public company because, in effect, if you bid on a company, you make the bid, and their shareholders vote months later, and you're giving an option. If we're good for it, and the other guy has a way to top you, or all kinds of things, they can get out of it, and you get paid 2% for that or 1% for that. That is not an appropriate price. And on the other hand, Delaware will decide whether they should do it or not, and that's the way the world is. I mean, that's the law. So it'd be easier to do with a private company, and there aren't very many that are big. On the other hand, there's nobody else that can quite make a deal like we can under the right circumstances. And there could be a situation,
it's true,
where a number of very decent companies have got a very uncomfortable borrowing structure, and money comes due to them at the exact wrong time, and that's when they pick up a phone, as did Tiffany and Harley Davidson and you name it. I mean, a whole bunch of companies in 2008. That sort of thing will happen again, whether it results in us getting the calls or what the world is exactly at that time. But the one
Before we go further here, a lot of people will say, why can't Warren Buffett pick stocks the way he maybe used to pick stocks and be as successful at picking stocks, right? And I think one of the big reasons is, you think about like an average person, me, you, just an average person, right? We can invest in pretty much any company, right? Because we don't have a limit in terms of how small we're willing to go, right? We can invest in super small cap stocks, mid caps, large caps, mega caps, whatever we want. Somebody like a Warren Buffett, in order for it to even make financial sense, he's really got to invest a minimum several $billion. But in many situations, it could be tens of billions of dollars. Now, how many companies are there out there where you can invest that sort of money into without spiking, obviously, the stock price in a massive, massive way? Not very many. And so that's a tough thing for Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett nowadays, whether you're talking about buying out an entire company, because if they're doing that, they usually want to look at something at least 10 billion plus. There's only a limited amount of those companies that are private companies. Many of the massive companies are public companies. And like he spoke about there, those deals are many times hard to do, very hard to do. Okay. Then in the private market, a lot of times whoever's the owner of that private company, they don't want to sell. If they wanted to sell, they would already probably be a public company, right? They would already be in the stock market. So that makes his job, I would say, actually harder than actually a retail investor who, is in the market and has anything they can invest in. Okay. And so, Warren Buffett has great knowledge, obviously, and knows so much about so much and is obviously super well connected. But, his job's not easy when you have like this many companies you can actually invest into and you got to pay the right price for it.
We know is that the number of phone calls that you can make at a time like that is very, very limited. And there can be good companies. They don't want to sell the company necessarily, but they just may need $5 or $10 or $20 billion, depending on what company you're talking about. And that can happen, and our own shareholders can be selling the stock too cheap, and we'll never do anything to make them sell it cheap, and we'll tell them the truth about what the business is. But if market circumstances result in us being able to buy in 50 billion of our own stock, we'll buy it. So we'll see what the world holds. But we don't have the opportunities we used to have, but we've got enough, and we're making money with the things we have. It isn't killing us to hold 130 billion of bills at 5%.
Yeah, 5%. Okay, think about this. $130 billion. Do the math on this, okay? Incredible. If you're getting a 1% return on $130 billion, that's $1.3 billion, right? Now, if you're getting a 5% return, times that out by 5, then at that point in time, what is that, $6.5 billion, something crazy? Like, think about that for a moment, okay? Like basically guaranteed money just for holding that money, right? Billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of basically risk-free money that Berkshire can make a year just holding the money, not doing a dang thing with it, just having it in treasuries or whatever, right? That's incredible to think about it from that context, man. So for somebody like Berkshire, actually the Fed raising rates actually helps them substantially because one, it creates discounts on stocks because usually stock valuations have to come down, right? In a situation like that. And two, they can finally make some really good money on their money.
Plus bond equivalent yields. And everybody says, well, yields are going to go down in the future. I don't have the faintest idea what yields are going to do in the future. And, the prime rate was 21.5% in 1981 or 2, and people were worried that it was going to go totally out of control. And Volcker kept it from happening. But if Volcker hadn't been in there, who the hell knows what would have happened. So we're running Berkshire so that we'll do okay, and maybe we'll do a little bit better than okay. Charlie?
Okay, maybe fine.
Nice work, Charlie. We appreciate that, sir. Alrighty. Elon Musk overestimates himself, but is still very talented. So over time, I'll be honest, okay, before we get into this, there's been a small war of words, okay, between Buffett, Munger, Musk over time, okay? And sometimes it's felt like maybe jealousy from different sides. I don't know, okay? But definitely, Elon Musk has said certain things about them before. They said certain things, and it's never gotten nasty. But, and you'll hear in this clip here, Charlie Munger has some, I think it's a straight shot at Elon Musk, okay? I think he was doing fine, and then what it sounded like is a straight shot at Elon Musk. I was like, whoa, that's a little harsh the way you put that there, Munger, okay? So these folks have a little history, and for whatever reason, I feel like people ask them these questions about what's your opinion on Elon Musk and what Elon Musk is up to, and that's going on.
You would prefer to hire someone with IQ of 130 who believes it's 120 over someone with IQ of 150 who thinks it's 170. I understand that you are referring to Elon Musk. given the recent success of his ventures, such as Tesla, SpaceX, and Starlink, I'm curious to know if you still hold the view that Elon Musk overestimates himself. Thank you so much.
Well, yes, I think Elon Musk overestimates himself, but he is very talented. So he's overestimating somebody who doesn't need to overestimate to be very talented.
There's a Bill Maher program, about a week old, maybe 2 weeks old, but he interviews Elon, and Elon does a terrific job, toe-to-toe with Bill Maher, who it's worth watching. And
thank you. If Warren Buffett tells me something's worth watching, then damn it, I'm going to watch that. I haven't actually seen it yet. I haven't seen it. Have you guys seen that? Should I watch it? If you have seen it and you recommend it, let me know, okay? But I'm going to be honest, since Warren Buffett's telling me I need to watch it, now I'm going to have to watch this, baby. Okay.
Elon he's a brilliant guy, and I would say that, he might score over 170, but he, he dreams about things, and his dreams have got a foundation.
He would not have achieved what he has in life if he hadn't tried for unreasonably extreme objectives.
True. I mean, that's a great point by Munger. As up to this point, it sounded, definitely very complimentary. We're going to get maybe a potential little shot here in just a moment. Let's just call it that. But 100%, like if in life, right? You kind of have to think big of yourself if you're trying to achieve anything, to be honest, right? And you're trying to be special at whatever that is, right? You can't get there without that level of confidence that you can do it, right? I'm sure if Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods and whoever didn't have that sort of level of confidence in themselves to do the biggest things that they could possibly do in what they were doing, right? Or Elon Musk, like thinking like, everybody, 99.99999% of other people are like, that's crazy. Like that, you can't pull that off, right? And somehow somebody like that does. And they do that through this level of confidence they have that they can pull that off, right? But then also being able to execute and do that, right? And it's very, very obviously challenging. Otherwise, everybody would do it. But whenever you're trying to do something that has been done before, it's just incredibly challenging. And, you've got to have that level of maybe potentially overestimating yourself to be able to achieve that, right? What's the old saying they tell you as a little kid? Reach for the stars. If you hit them, at least you'll be in space. No, that's not the saying. Something like that, okay? Reach for the stars. If you miss, you'll be a SpaceX rocket. I don't know, and then land in the ocean.
Taking on the impossible job and doing it. We're different. Warren and I are looking for the easy job that we can identify.
Yeah. If we can do it playing tic-tac-toe, we'll do it,
We have a wholly different way of going
the whole way. Yeah. But we don't want to compete with Elon in a lot of things. I mean,
we don't want that much failure.
Yeah. Yeah, and it takes over your life, and I mean, in a way that it just doesn't fit us. But there are going to be. Well, there have been important things done by Elon already, and it requires fanaticism isn't the word.
Yeah, it is the word.
Okay. Well, it isn't quite the word, but it's a dedication to solving the impossible, and every now and then they'll do it, but it would be torturous to me or Charlie. And I like the way I'm living, and I wouldn't enjoy being in his, but he wouldn't enjoy being in my shoes either.
Exactly, and you know what? That's You know, it's funny because that's kind of the Elon Musk point he made, this is probably a few years ago now, about, you know, Warren Buffett and just running money. And, you know, he didn't say, he kind of alluded to like, this sounds so boring and this and that, right? And it depends on what lifestyle you want to live, right? I had that on the TV earlier. My wife says, if I had asked him a question, I'd ask him, does he even enjoy his money? It just looks like he's always working. I'm like, well, if that's what makes him happy and that's the way this man wants to live at 92 years old, then bless his soul. Like, you know, if that's the way he wants to live, that's the way he wants to live, right? And so everybody's got their own way of how they want to live and what they want to do in life. And obviously Elon has his way. And Charlie Munger there, it sounded like he kind of took a shot when he says, you know, we don't want that much failure. But it's a shot in one respect, but it's also just kind of like, if you are going after that sort of, let's call it, these big projects and these big crazy things, you're going to have to deal with massive amounts of failure, right? And you know, every time a SpaceX rocket, you know, every time that happens, obviously Elon and the team, they have to, you know, figure out what's wrong. And it's like, you know, but from my understanding, SpaceX actually, when a rocket blows up like that, from my understanding, they actually look at that as like a learning opportunity more than a failure. And they almost embrace that, which I think is probably the right attitude to have in that sort of business. But you're going to be let down so many times. There's going to be a lot of things that go wrong. And it's just not obviously the way somebody like Charlie Munger would have liked to live their life, or Warren Buffett, right? And respect to that. You know, everybody's got their own way of doing stuff and how they want to do their own stuff. So appreciate everybody joining me as always. Much love, folks. Yeah, if you're going to join us, myself, the 6 and 7 figure members in the private stock group, check out the application down there. I might cover another Warren Buffett or two video over the next few days here. So there was definitely a lot of interesting things I saw that I was like, oh, this is probably worth reacting to on the reaction channel. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.